Besides the fact that these door curtains look exactly like an intruder in the middle of the night, they are the perfect addition to your cutesy little room. It's a great project if you only have one skein of yarn, and super beginner friendly. For supplies, I am using a 3mm hook and this Juniper Moon Farm Zoe yarn. I love this yarn, but any sport weight or fine weight yarn will do. And really, you can use any yarn, any hook that you like. It's just going to change the size and look of your flowers. The pattern for this is so stupid simple. I'm going to walk through it once very slowly for my beginner crocheters, and then another time a little bit faster for my more advanced crochet girlies. Plus at the end, I'm going to show you how you can modify this by adding beads to it, which really takes this to a whole nother level. Trust. If you are looking for the written pattern, you can join my crochet community and get access to my entire library of whimsical crochet things. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now and get into the tutorial. Okay, for my absolute beginners, I'm gonna show you how to make this flower at a super slow pace. As a reminder, if you're a little bit more of an advanced crocheter and you just want to see the pattern at a quicker pace, you can skip to the timestamp. But let's get started. We're going to start with a slip knot. There are lots of ways to do this. You can use whatever method you want. I like to do my hands at a finger gun, and then I drape my yarn over so that I have the tail end kind of facing towards me. And then I'm going to take this other end of the yarn and I'm going to make kind of a T, or if you imagine like a 4, I'm going to cross that over the tail end of the yarn. I'm then going to take the tail end of the yarn, wrap it up and over my pointer finger, and I now have like these 2 loops on my pointer finger. I'm just going to grab the second loop, pull it over my finger, grab the tail end of your yarn and pull up with your pointer finger. And now you have this nice little slip knot. Sorry if you guys can hear the birds. Go ahead, insert your hook, and then tighten your slip knot just by grabbing onto the 2 ends and pulling. Great. We are going to start this flower by chaining 7. So you're going to yarn over, pull through. That is your first chain. And we're going to do that 6 more times. So for a total of 7. Yarn over, pull through, that's 2. Yarn over, pull through, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now insert your hook into the very first chain that we made. So I'm just taking my hook and inserting into that chain, and then yarn over, pull through that first loop, and then without yarning over, you're going to pull through the second loop. So just doing a slip stitch into the very first chain. Great. Now this is our center where we are going to work all of our petals into, and we're going to start our first petal by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to place our first stitch, which is going to be a treble crochet. As a reminder, make sure that you are working with your tail end of your yarn so that you don't have to sew it in at the very end. So to place a treble crochet, we are going to yarn over twice. So we have these 3 loops on our hook. Insert your hook into this center circle and then pull up a loop. We now have these 4 loops on our hook, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on your hook, and yarn over and pull through both of those. Amazing. Next up, we're going to do, I believe this stitch is called a double treble, but we're just going to yarn over 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. We have these 4 loops on our hook. Insert into the center, pull up a loop. We now have 5 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, final 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through both of those. All right, now we are going to place another treble crochet. yarn over twice, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. To finish off your first petal, we are going to chain 3 and then place a slip stitch into this center circle. So just insert your hook without yarning over, pull up a loop, and then without yarning over again, pull that loop through the second loop on your hook. All right, and now we're just going to repeat that for a total of 5 petals. So repeat it 4 more times. Chain 3, place our treble crochet, so yarn over twice, insert, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to place that double treble crochet, so yarn over 3 times, insert, pull up a loop. We have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through those last 2. Now again, treble crochet, yarn over twice, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and now chain 3. And place that slip stitch again. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through the second loop on your hook. Great, now we have 2 petals. And we're just gonna keep doing that. Chain 3, treble crochet, where we yarn over twice, double treble, yarning over 3 times, treble crochet, yarn over twice, chain 3, and place your slip stitch. Petal number 4, chain 3, treble crochet, yarn over twice, double treble, where we yarn over 3 times, treble crochet, yarn over twice, chain 3, and place your slip stitch. Last petal, chain 3, yarn over twice for our treble crochet, yarn over 3 times for our double treble, yarn over twice for our treble, chain 3, and then place that slip stitch. Okay, we now have all 5 of our flowers. At this point, I like to pull up a long loop with my hook and just kind of like spread the petals out, make sure that I like the way that they are sitting, and then I'm going to reinsert my hook. So I'm just putting it back into the loop and then tightening it. And then I'm going to place a slip stitch into the very first chain that we made. So I'm just going to insert my hook into this very first chain here. And then I'm going to pull through both loops on my hook. Awesome. And that's just going to help kind of keep the petals in place so that they're not shifting around a bunch. Now we are going to chain 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is going to be the space in between each of your flowers. So we'll attach them like this eventually, like this. If you want this space to be bigger, you can chain more. If you want it to be shorter, you can chain less. It's totally up to you. To finish off this flower, pull up a generous loop and you can remove your hook. And then you are going to cut the end of your yarn. Again, I would leave a generous amount and you are not going to bind off. So you are just going to leave your flower like this because eventually we're going to use this yarn to attach to our further flowers. But for now, you are just going to repeat this as many times, as many flowers as you need. For my more advanced crocheters, this is the speedy version of the exact same pattern. So you're going to do a slip knot and chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're then going to place a slip stitch into the very first chain that you made. So we have this nice loop, and then we're going to place all of our petals into this loop. In the repeating pattern, I'll put it up on the screen, but you're going to start by chaining 3, and then place a treble crochet, then a double treble crochet, which it's exactly like a treble, but you're just yarning over 3 times instead of 2. And then another treble crochet, chain 3, and then slip stitch into this center. Whoa. And this is your first petal. You're going to repeat that same pattern another 4 times for a total of 5 patterns, and then I'll meet you at the end and show you what to do. All right, I'm on my last petal. I'm going to chain 3 and place that slip stitch. And now I'm just going to pull up a nice long loop, and I like to just sort of like play around with the placement of the petals, make sure that they're sitting in a way that I like. It's nice and even. And then reinsert my hook, and you're just going to place a slip stitch into the very first chain that we made from the very first petal. So just placing a slip stitch there, and that kind of helps keep the petals in place so that they're not shifting around a bunch. And then I'm going to chain 10. And then pull up a nice generous loop. This chain 10 is the space that's going to be in between the 2 flowers. So eventually we'll attach them like this. If you want this space to be longer, you can chain more. If you want it to be less, you can chain less. It's totally up to you. To finish off the flower, you're just going to cut, again, a generous amount of yarn, and do not bind this off. We're going to eventually use this to attach our flowers together. Just repeat this flower as many times as you need for however many door hangers you want to make. I do recommend making the flowers in bulk and then attaching them all together, but up to you. Whatever you want to do, it's your preference. Once you are ready to attach all of your flowers, I'm just going to start by cutting off this tail end of my yarn, which I don't have to sew in because I was working it in while I go. And then we're gonna go ahead and reinsert our hook into this loop up here. And then you're gonna grab your second flower and you're gonna find the petal, which is directly opposite this chain 10, so this one. And then into the double treble, so like the very center stitch of that petal, that's where we are going to insert our hook. And then you're just going to place a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through all of the loops on your hook. Then to bind off, you're just chaining 1 and pulling through. just like that. Unfortunately, this end will need to be sewn in, but I'm just gonna leave that to you because Lord knows I'm gonna procrastinate it. Now, when you do this, your very top flower, obviously you're not gonna be attaching this to a flower since it's at the top, but we do want to create a nice little loop so that you can hang it up. So you're just going to insert your hook into there and then go back into the same stitch that your chain 10 originated from and place a slip stitch there. And then again, yarn over and bind off. So like chain 1 and pull through. And now you have this nice little loop, which you can use to hang your flowers up. Now, if you want to add beads, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's so easy, and I recommend doing it because it's just so cute. To add beads into your flower, you are going to have to do this before you start crocheting, but I recommend using a darning needle. This is just going to make attaching the beads onto your yarn so much easier. I think you can probably do it without a darning needle, but trust me, this is just easier. Of course, you can use any bead that you want. You just have to make sure that they're big enough to fit onto your yarn. And I'm just going to string my beads onto my yarn like this. I'm just going to add as many as you think you will need for one flower or more. When in doubt, do more. Okay, I've got 6 beads on here. I think that's going to be more than enough. I'm just gonna remove my darning needle, and now I'm just gonna basically crochet the flower like I normally would. And to add in your bead at any point in time, you're just going to take one of the beads and move it to basically to your hook, and then just continue crocheting like normal around it. And there it is, it's in there. I like to just add them kind of sporadically, like whenever I feel like it. You can place them at any point in your stitch. So even like halfway through a stitch, you can place a bead here, and that's what's going to actually determine like what height the bead is at. And girl, you can go crazy. You can do as many as you want. You can do as little as you want. Literally whatever your little heart desires. That's what makes it so exciting. And that's it. Super duper simple. I know I sound a little bit like a broken record, but like you should totally join my crochet community. I have my entire library of patterns. We work on projects together. We get on calls together. You basically have an endless source of crochet inspiration. And yeah, that's all. Let me know if you make this. I would love to see it. And I will see you in the next video.